On today's show, we feature magician Roch.
Welcome to Magic Mike's Castle webcast and podcast.
This is Roch, and his passion is magic. He's been practicing the craft for over 40 years. His experience is rich and varied, with performances in venues from cruise ships, trade shows, and festivals to private affairs. He specializes in close-up, strolling, and table sleight-of-hand card and coin magic tricks. Ray got his big break as a magician when he was performing at a nightclub in Vancouver. He was asked to join a Canadian Armed Forces tour of the Northwest Territories. This was a big accomplishment for Ray that led to many more gigs for him, including the famous Magic Castle in Hollywood and the acquisition of a coveted master's degree in magic from the 4F. Today, Ray no longer pursues shows for income. He considers himself retired and enjoys his magic as a hobby rather than a career. Despite being retired from magic, Ray still invents new routines. But don't expect Ray to share any tricks of the trade with you. He comes from a long line of magicians from a secret brotherhood. But at the same time, he credits how technology and communications are allowing a new generation of magicians to learn magic and develop innovative tricks. Ray believes that continuing to practice magic helps keep his arthritic fingers nimble and his mind sharp. For Ray, his side career and hobby has now become something he can do simply for the love of it.
Hello, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen. My name, as I was introduced, is Roch. I am a magician. I have a little act I call flim flam foolery, and it's a takeoff from the old days of vaudeville. But I'm not doing that just to this point. This is close-up magic. The type of stuff I would normally do for a trade show, a convention, walk around in a restaurant, just kind of in an at-ease type format, not necessarily with a bunch of people sitting in front of me. This is more like a lecture format. So I'll do it a combine, entertaining, and a lecture. How would that be? Not a lecture, how to do things, but just how you can use this vehicle to get ahead in life. Okay? And as I go, I'll stop periodically and explain how I've used it to further my career. Okay, so to begin, I'd like to show you how to make money. Now this is the best way to make money, the easiest way to make money is reach into the sky and just pick it out of the sky. Where there's one, there should be another. And if you look closer, you'll see there's another one over here. And then just, if you don't mind, I'd like to use the one that's behind here. Thank you for it. There, that's the opening. A little thing called juggling in the money market. If you want to do this for a while, you may get arthritis. If you want to get you to hold on to this one for me, that's easy come, easy go. It's back over here. You can actually flick it in the air a few times and make it vanish, but not really. It's right here. I can take a coin, I can place it in my hand just like this, place it deep into the pocket. I don't know if you can see this, okay? Can you? Came right through the cloth. Have you ever seen how easy money is to vanish? Look at that. It's right there. But then again, there is such a thing as inflation. It is solid money. Actually, it only looks like it's rubber. And you can do this with any coin, folks. If you'd like to learn a magic trick, you can take and make it look like it's bending. I'll show you with a real coin. See, even a small coin. It looks like it's bending. It's just the fingers. Honest. Seeing I have the 4 coins here, I'd like to do something with 4 coins and 4 cards. Allow me to show you a trick called, I forget what it's called, but it's not important. I want to get the cards. Here it is. I'll take 4 deck of cards. These are well-trained cards. These cards will do what I want. They'll leap, jump, fly in the air, and stop whenever I want. Not only that, but I can take these cards, flick them in the air, catch the card, and instantly tell you what the card is. Now, wouldn't that be a great trick? Say yes. Yes. We need a little more enthusiasm here. Okay, I'll do it one more time. I'll catch the card and instantly tell you that that card, 2 diamonds. Actually, the 2 two of diamonds is the chameleon card. It only looks like it's the two of diamonds. It's not really the two of diamonds, because if I pass my hands over the cards, it shall visibly change right before you ride to the five of hearts. I know you're not paying attention, so I'll do it again. And you can see this now changed to the six of spades. And one more time for those in the cheap seats. 5 o'clock. I have to confess that there is a slight problem with doing this kind of a magic trick. There is a problem. Sometimes it doesn't work. See, that happens. And then you get a whole bunch of cards over here. And then when you're watching, they all have... Thank you. Thank you. Okay, now we have 4 cards. 4 ordinary everyday prank cards. We have a whole pile of money here. 4 coins. Can everybody here see the 4 coins? Yes. Okay, I'm going to cover the 4 coins with 4 cards. Watch closely. I'm going to cover the 4 coins with the 4 cards. Watch. As I show you, we definitely have 2 coins over here. All it takes is a little snap of the fingers, yes, to cause one of the coins to jump magically from one spot to the other. And once again, a little snap, that's all it takes, and one coin jumps from one spot to the other. And the last one, the most difficult one, it's already happened. I have no set format here. I'm just going on as I happen to think of something. And at this point, for some reason or other, an elastic band just flashed before my eyes. No hole, springs, wires, or mirrors. Well, there's one hole. Interesting, common, everyday object, an elastic band with strange properties. You can take an elastic band and place it right there on the thumb. Look, it's on there. See that? It's exactly stuck on the thumb. The other will pop off. I'll do it again. And it pops right off. Or if you wish, you can take an elastic band and you can break an elastic band. Anybody can do this. Let's restore it again.
And welcome back, everybody, to Magic Mike's Castle. We have our very, very special guest this time, Ray Roch. And such a pleasure to have you on this day. Ray, how are you?
I'm doing fine. How are you, Mike?
Terrific. Thank you so much for agreeing to join us this time. I'm excited because you're a living legend in a way. I'm not going to gush. I'm just going to state facts, is that you're a big part of Vancouver magic history, in that you've lived and you've performed and you've seen, I'll say decades, if that's fair to say, decades of transitions of magic styles and magicians coming and going. And I wonder if you have a brief story you'd like to share with us, which will also enlighten people out there as to a little bit of the history of magic in Vancouver, Canada. I remember just recently, I think at a meeting, it was either IBM or SAM, probably the SAM, Society of American Magicians meeting, you shared with everyone a story about a few very, very famous magicians. And I know that magic goes through popularity every 10 or 20 years. I read somewhere, every 20 years magic gets a resurgence in popularity and so forth. And I believe that to be true. If you live long enough, you see, okay, trends change. All of a sudden the public and former magicians are magicians again and all this sort of thing. But you've lived long enough to see some legends, local legends of Vancouver, who are not just local legends, they're international stars. I'm talking, of course, about Leon Mandrake, and you shared a little bit of a story. I think you were in a mall watching a show, or perhaps I've got that wrong. Would you like to share something along those lines with us?
Sure, I can do that for you. Leon Mandrake is a very fine gentleman. I'm old enough now that I can look back and relate to the fact that I actually knew the guy. Now, everybody talks about Leon Mandrake nowadays, but they never met him. They didn't get to talk to him. They never really got to watch him on stage. And fortunately, I did. Guys like him and Jack Meller, and just so many old magicians from way back when, like Percy Poole, Roy Wheeler, guys that used to be here in the 1940s, guys that used to work USO tours for the Armed Forces during the Second World War. I got to know all of these guys. But the incident about Leon Mandrake is I was working close-up magic show. I had a table set up with 2 chairs and a backdrop at the Guildford Shopping Mall. And at the time, there was myself, Martin Nash, I believe, was at another table somewhere else, and John Patterson and Maureen were doing a small stage for somewhere else in the mall. But anyhow, I set up, and I had chairs set up in front of me, and as I'm setting up, Leon comes up to me. You, Leon. I said, Leon, it's really nice to see you. Will you stay and watch the show? And he said, no, I don't have time. I don't have time to watch your show. So I said, oh, well, anyhow. So I get going, and I'm doing the show, and it's going really well. I mean, I have these 2 people on either side of me. I'm doing close-up magic. The audience are really receptive. And I look into the back of the crowd because I usually try to look to the back of the crowd when they're performing. And there's Leon Mandrake applauding and, cheering me on. And I'm thinking, what a gentleman. He said he didn't want to come and see my show because he didn't want to make me nervous. He knew that if I knew he was in the audience, I might be a little nervous. So I always thought, what a gentleman, He was a real fine person from the old days. I can remember another occasion when I was doing a show. I was doing a manipulative act. I called Flim Flam Foolery, and I was doing a version at the Vancouver Magic Club meeting. Oh, this is way, way before they had it where it is now. This is the days when they had Roy Wheeler, Percy, Easler, Percy Poole, all these old-timers from the 1940s were still in the club. And anyhow, I'm on stage, and Leon Mandrake sitting in the front row, and I'm doing my act. And I can swear to God, this guy was like a kid. He was enjoying the magic so much. I'm thinking, man, oh man, he sure knows how to make a guy on stage feel good. Yeah, so that's the story about Leon.
That's so fantastic.
Lon, being his son and the president of our Society of American Magician Assembly 95, is really carried the tradition.
He certainly does. That's one of the things I love about the Society of American Magicians, particularly the local assembly, is that camaraderie. It's a bunch of mature guys, and there's no I don't know if I can say BS on the air, but we're just there to enjoy and to share, and we respect each other. We're all compeers. And it's just one of my all-time favorite clubs to belong to. We're going to take a brief break, and I want to talk a little bit more about Ray when we come back, about some of the things he's invented, some of the illusions, and some of his books as well. We'll be back right after this.
Producer and host of his specials on social media based on his magic books of the same name, Dr. Michael, Magic Mike Likey, is also a clinical hypnotherapist and doctor of theocentric psychology. Having performed more than 250 shows a year in the mid-80s and 90s, he also produced and starred in the world's longest regularly produced TV shows in Winnipeg, Canada for 9 years, and guested regularly on broadcast television and starred in A Medieval Feast for 10 years. Star of stage and television, Magic Mike Likey performs illusions large and small and will teach you the secrets of the magical arts, both in person and virtually. This is Magic Mike Likey.
But the trick that drove 6,000 psychiatrists crazy, that's the one where you take 2 elastic bands and you trap one behind the other. Look at this. We trapped that elastic band back there. It's impossible now. As you can see, it's trapped in there. It cannot come out. See, it can't come out there, and it can't come out there, but like magic, it comes apart. There's this thing here. Would you like to help me just for a moment, my dear? What's your name? Who? Kendra? I won't embarrass you, I promise you. Is it yours? Can you just take one of the elastic bands, hold it like that? That's all you have to do. Just like that. 2 fingers. Perfect. Close it up. Put them right in there. Close them so I can't take it. There. Good. How like this? Perfect. Spread them like that. And what I'm going to attempt to do is now take my elastic band off here without her releasing her elastic band. Can you see okay? Yeah. See, it's actually stuck in there. Can't come out there. Can't come out there if you watch closely. see. Come on this side, my friend. And don't tell them how we did it. And you see now? Okay, you see the elastic band stuck there. It can't come out there or there like magic. Thank you. Thank you very much for helping me, Kendra. Okay. And moolah money. This I call my moolah money trick. Yes, you too can make your own money, instant copies, instant duplicates. All you have to do is get yourself one of these little puppies. Now what you have to do is you have to have it specially chemically treated, not on this side, but on that side, the front side, the back side, the down side, the upside, the inside, and the outside. Does everybody understand? Well, I'm sure glad. Just about, there we are. And we take a $5 bill. We take a $5 bill, we place it right within the folds. If you watch closely, we'll place a $5 bill right there. Place one on top of the other, and all together now, moolah moolah.
Moolah moolah.
And look at this, an instant copy. An instant. Yes, and a moolah moolah, we get an instant duplicate. And one more time, and we're one step ahead of the law. Oh, just easy. And there we have my moolah money trick. I know it's not much, but it's kept me off the streets for many, many years. Not only that, but it's got magical properties. As you can see, it actually floats off the hand. Stop that. Thank you. Yes, you can see that. But as I said, I was going to show you how you can use magic as a tool. I was working a trade show at one time, and they asked me if I would use their product. And it just so happened to be Shoppers Drug Mart. Everybody here is familiar with Shoppers Drug Mart? Big company. At the time, I didn't realize just how wealthy this company really was. And when I did find out it was the wealthiest company in Canada, I became really excited. I rushed down to Shoppers Drug Mart and I picked up some of their prescription labels. Because even as we speak, they've gone up in value. Look at this one here, it's probably worth $1. There's a 2 or 3, no, 5, maybe a 10. I know we do have a few skeptics in the crowd who think that I'm telling a bit of a fib. But look, I'll show you. There's the 1. There's the 5, the 10, and maybe the 20, and an old-fashioned $2 bill.
And we're back with magician Ray Roch, and I'm so excited to be talking with Ray, and he sure makes me feel, and probably a lot of other magicians as well, very comfortable when we go to the magic meetings, in particular the Society of American Magicians. But you're not just a magician. I mean, it would be enough that you're skilled at incredible sleight of hand. Some of you might have seen that in the clip near the beginning of you doing what we call a miser's dream, or a coin production, if you will, into a bucket. And just those incredible nimble fingers, they look so elegant, but regular people, lay people, if you will, they don't realize how much work goes into making something look simple and look graceful. So, you know, I'm sure I'm not the first one that has said that to you, but you're appreciated, your skill is appreciated and always will be. But you're, besides being a very skilled magician with many years behind you of experience, you've also created some effects. We call them effects or illusions. Lay people out there will call them tricks. And you've also written a number of books. I'd love you to share briefly with us by holding up and maybe talking briefly about what you have.
This here I call the No Gimmick Chopbox. It was interesting. I was at 4F, and I had done this one trick with a little box, and it's like a chop box routine. And everybody there, like Gene Anderson and a whole pile of these stars, people I didn't even know, but I found out later were real stars of magic. They all got excited, and they wanted a book. And I just so happened to have this one I had just printed, and they bought me out. After I did that, I decided I was going to put everything into a DVD format. And Paul Ramhani, he did the Impossible Box. And after I read the reviews, I realized there was a glitch in there that I didn't really like. So I started to really work on it, and I changed the whole, not all of it, but some of the method. I came up with the Impossible Box V2. This is a better version. this one was done quite hastily because Paul was on working cruise ships and didn't have a lot of time, and just so we had more time to work on and better sound, better everything. And we did this at David Waters' place at his nice little theater, so it was a better backdrop. It's been doing the DVDs, that's okay, and it was fun, but really what I enjoy more is writing books, and that's why I wrote a life story. This is my whole life story. In there I have all kinds of colored pages, and I actually have a vaudeville routine that Ray Parker and I used to do together. It's in there too. We used to have a lot of fun with this, and it's not only on magic, it's on my life, my upbringing. It's also on my life as a Greyhound bus driver. Being a magician is a wonderful profession. And yes, there are times when you can make a lot of money at it, but there's a lot of times when you're starving to death too. And probably right now would be a good time with COVID to say that there's a lot of guys that are suffering. But I was fortunate because I managed to work for a company that said, yeah, you can go and do magic whenever you wanted. So I got to work on cruise ships. I got to go work at the Magic Castle. I got to work with the Frantic Follies, touring all through Armed Forces bases. I did all kinds of conventions and fairs and festivals, and I did all I ever wanted to do. And after it was all over and done, when I reached a certain age, I retired from Greyhound on a pension, and I don't have to worry. So we have enough money to live on. So I don't have to worry about scrambling to get a show.
Exactly.
I still have the love for magic.
That's one of the things I love about our age, if you will.
It being almost retirement age, I'm just doing magic because I love it. And I hope that the next 20 years of my life, and I say I hope, that's because I'm assuming I'll live at least that long, will be devoted just to performing magic, to sharing magic, teaching magic, that sort of thing again. It's like coming full circle to your one true love. And no one understands that more than you, Ray. So we're going to take another brief break, and we're going to return, and hopefully Ray will share with us one of his original illusions. We'll be back in just a moment.
Enjoy Magic Mike Likey's animated cartoons, comic books, CDs, and DVDs available from Amazon. He's also the author of more than 45 self-help alternative wellness books, as well as instructional magic books, all available from Amazon. Published in international magicians' trade journals, Magic Mike Likey is a member of the International Brotherhood of Magicians and the Society of American Magicians.
Carrying right on. Time's going well. One of my favorite card tricks is where I use 4 queens. It's kind of a fun thing to do. What I have here is I have 4 queens. Can you see the 4 queens? Everybody can see this okay? Because what I shall do now is just a little snap of the fingers and magical rub. Watch closely as one of those queens turns itself over. Just so happens that is the Queen of Clubs. Once more, with just a little snap of the fingers, yes, that's all it takes. And another queen turns itself over. The Queen of Spades has turned itself right way up again, or the Queen of Clubs. And the Queen of Diamonds turned over. Okay, once more. And you can see that it is now the Queen of Spades that has turned itself over. But the last card, and possibly the most difficult, is the Queen of Hearts. Everybody recollect what color the back is. It's very important. The Queen of Hearts has turned itself over. Does anybody remember what color the back was? No, you weren't paying attention. See, they're all red. Each and every. The faces, of course, a lot of people would say they were red and black, wouldn't you? No, they're really not. If you look closely, you'll see that each and every card is red. But then again, we are using marked cards. We are using marked cards, and each and every card is marked just a little different. Thank you very much. Okay, I'd like to show you my wife's favorite card trick. As I said, I don't have any specific format or formula here. I'm just taking it as it comes. I used to think that my wife, Pat, used to be a great lover of card tricks, until one day I opened up the package and found out that she had washed the spots off all my cards. Or the indices, if you prefer. Which makes it terribly difficult for me to perform a card trick for you. So how would it be if I just told you about the card trick that I would normally perform if we had spots on the cards? How would that be?
Sure.
Sounds good. Well, first of all, normally have somebody select the card, but we don't have any spots. So it wouldn't make any sense to select the card. But let's just pretend that somebody had selected a card, taken it, remembered it. Then my job, of course, as a magician, would be to find the card. Well, let's say it was the Jack of Hearts. Well, of course, that's a very easy card to find because that's the only card in the deck, see? There's a bit of a problem, though, with the Jack of Hearts. It would be rather nice if there's a little design on the back. It would make it a terrific trick. It would be a terrific trick if there was a little design on the back like that. I can see it would be a terrific trick if there's a little design like that on the back. I can see people in the back row actually going snowblind. Yeah. So I worked out a bit of a system. I figured I'll take the deck, put it in the right hand, tap it smartly against that finger there. If I tap it really hard, it breaks my fingernail, and secondly, there's just a nice red back. Now at this point, a lot of people do get confused. You should never get confused unless you see other cards. Cards like the 4 of clubs, the 7 of hearts, or the Queen of diamonds, or the 6 of diamonds. Unfortunately, we just don't have those cards. It would be rather nice, wouldn't it? Then again, it would be really nice if that Jack of diamonds had a little design on the back. It would be a terrific trick. How long do you play piano? Go ahead, pretend. Let Roger just turn over his grave. No, I don't. You know what happened when you went like this? What? You gave us all the other cards. What happened? And before you did this, before you wrinkled your fingers on the cards, we didn't have any spots on the cards, so I couldn't do this card trick for you even if I wanted to, because we do not have any spots whatsoever on the card, except that one. And, but if I was ever going to perform a card trick for you, this is the one I'd probably do if it had spots. Thank you. This is, I'm going to need somebody to help me with this just for a few seconds. Can I get that young lady there? Can you help me with this? Thank you very much. Because what I need to do is, if I can, okay, I need you to be so kind when you come over here. Stand right behind the table. Good. What's your name? Are you standing on the trap door? Do I need to stand there? Good. Perfect. Melissa, what I have here is I have some cards, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a little box. This is called origami. I'm going to make a little box out of playing cards. Origami is an ancient Japanese form of paper folding. Paper was invented, I believe, if I'm correct, about 7,000 years ago, and shortly thereafter the Japanese came along and said, let's fold it, whatever. And you'll notice that the box is almost finished and that it is completely empty. Can you see that? Can you see anything in there? Can anybody see anything in there? Can you see anything? It's very difficult to hold on to. Okay, so we'll put the lid on. Did you see your names? Melissa. Melissa. You notice we have hearts. If you were going to give chocolates to a girlfriend, it would be a really neat idea to use a little box like this. You could put chocolates inside. Or if you wanted to give her a diamond ring, you could put diamonds. If you made it a club, you get clever, but you wouldn't want to do that. Give it more space. Actually, I don't think that would be such a good idea. But what I didn't tell you is that we do have an invisible little specimen inside there called an origami. If I can get you to hold your hands out right about there, 2 hands, the clean ones, oh. And then if you look closely, what I'm going to show you is an origami. Isn't that a cute little thing? You know how I got that in there? Hold your hands up. Same thing, I got that in there. Thank you very much,
And we're back with magician Ray Roch, who has kindly agreed to share one of his original illusions with us. I'm so looking forward to this. Ray, go ahead.
So a few moments ago we were talking about the impossible box, or the no gimmick Chopbox, and this is what it looks like. So I'll give you an idea. I'm just using one variation here. I have 2 or 3 different ways of doing this, so I'm just going to use a different variation than I sometimes do. Because at different occasions, there are different times and different ways of doing it. So I just make it a little wall of cards here. I know you want to look inside. See, there it is. You see inside. Yeah, there's absolutely nothing in there. Then I come over here, and I finish building the little box. Now this is called the impossible box. It's not an improbable box. It's not an unlikely box. It's the impossible box. And people say, well, why do you call it the impossible box? Well, I'll tell you why I call it the impossible box. I'm just going to hold the corners here. Is because it's as impossible as it may seem, there is a little ball inside the box.
I love it.
Now, if I take the little ball and place it in the box, shake it up and down, place it in my pocket. Now, the idea, of course, is to get the ball from the pocket here, right? Now, back underneath this little box without anybody seeing it go. Now, I hope everybody understands. So we'll start at the beginning. We take the ball. But this time, we don't put it in the pocket, we just put it in the box and go some fun. And believe it or not, the ball is back in the box. Now, if I was to have somebody put the ball in the box and shake it up and down, I would get them to guess. I place the ball in my pocket and make somebody guess if the ball in the box in the pocket. If they say it's in the box, it might be in the box. If they say it's in the pocket, of course it's in the pocket. It's, there's nothing at all underneath the box. But if you want something underneath the box, there's something underneath the box. Well, this time I'll take the ball and put it in my pocket and give somebody out there one last chance. Is the ball in the box or the pocket? It doesn't really matter. It's never going to be what you expect it to be. You should never, ever, ever, ever bet on a magician.
No.
Because you never, ever know what you're going to get.
No way. Wow.
And there we have the impossible box. It's finished. I give it to people.
That is fantastic. That is amazing. And regular people out there or lay people.
Just watching that, it's fantastic. It's entertainment, it's pure magic, the surprise endings. But for magicians, there's even more to it because you're doing what we call kind of a chop cup routine plus. I've never seen a chop cup routine as a magician with such an ending, with 3 objects like that, using supposedly just ordinary cards, ordinary playing cards. And of course, you got my mind working in a crazy manner. I'm thinking, oh boy, I can't reveal this. I won't reveal this. But I'm thinking, oh, the traditional way of doing a chop cup routine you were doing. And then I realized, no, you're not. This is so beautiful. Thank you for sharing that with us, Ray.
What I will say about it is the box can be freely handled. I give them to people. And I'm going to tell a little story because this is really interesting. I was working a trade show, convention type of an environment, the hospitality suite, going around doing close-up magic over and over again. And of course, you know, when you're doing magic over and over, it gets a little tiring. So one day I get to a table, there's about 6 people, and I give every one of them 6 playing cards. And I had them make a box. Now I'll let me show you how to make cards. So you take 2 playing cards, you fold them like this and like this, like this. And then you take them apart and you score the edges and it gives you a nice solid card. So I got them all to do this, then I taught them how to do it. So this is how it's done. You take the card, you place it here. These fingers hold it. I don't have a problem telling somebody how to make a box because it's not magic. But it does give you something. See, now the thumb and the finger. Now to make it easier for people that want to make a box, instead of going over here with it, I go here. So now you're holding it here and here. I'm sorry, I'll do it here. I have to do it the way I normally do it, okay? This finger is holding it here, and this one here is pulling back this flap a little bit, and placing that one there. This one goes on top. You pull this flap back, and now you have a box. So what was really interesting, I found everybody made a box. It took a little while, and I walked through it with them, and I helped them when they were fumbling because it is difficult. And then after all finished, I said, and I'm not ready for it, so what I say, that I opened up my box, and I dumped out a line. And it was just amazing. It was kind of neat. And they all got to keep the box. Because there's no magnets, there's nothing in here, no strings, no threads, nothing. It's just 6 playing cards and these 2 hands that are a little arthritic now, so I'm not as smooth as I used to be. thank you very much for watching my show.
Oh, it's fantastic, Ray.
Ray, fantastic. How can people get in touch with you?
Online, rockmagic@telus.net. That's the easiest way. ROCH magic@telus.net. I got a
Excellent.
kick out of this. I was at the 4F one time, and I said I got 2 boxes. Interesting. They're just like cups, you know. One goes right through the other.
You're so bad.
He just did the cups and balls move that would normally be done at the beginning of a routine, just with those little cardboard boxes made out of playing cards. You're wicked, Ray. Thank you once again, and so much for joining us this week, Ray. It was a pleasure.
Well, it was my pleasure to be here for you.
I want to thank all of you out there for joining us as well. We'll see you all next time.